Hello and welcome to the Poverty Franchise Podcast. Today, my name is PJ, and we are here on the backs of a great Team USA victory against Iran. We will be talking about the NFL, the other football, however, and I just want to say shout out Team USA and that heart, just absolutely not heart pulling, but felt heart palpitations. 1-0 win against Iran, and the end of that game was just fucking nightmarish in terms of watching it for your blood pressure. But they pulled it through. They play the Netherlands on Saturday. I hope to see them just at least compete. Getting out of the group stage in the World Cup is always an accomplishment. I mean, I'd like to see them keep moving forward. But to get as far as they did, I'm glad they got out the group. The group looked kind of tough on paper, but we're not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the NFL, so we're going to jump right into it. Starting with the scores, the Bills beat the Lions on one of the things. The three Thanksgiving games. I thought I was tweaking about Thursday Night Football. The three Thursday games, the Bills beat the Lions in a real close affair. Cowboys beat the Giants in another close game, and the Vikings beat the Patriots. I almost said Daniel Jones. Kirk Cousins gets a primetime win. Panthers beat the Broncos. We're going to talk about the Broncos. It's going to be my focus after kind of next week. Next week's predictions, the scores, some of the storylines, that's going to be the main topic of discussion for this video. This might be a shorter one. I'm just trying to speed through it today. With Sam Darnold getting the start, by the way, when Panthers won. Browns beat the Buccaneers in OT. Buccaneers are not looking great. Still, the Jags beat the Ravens on a ballsy two-point conversion call. Trevor Lawrence has been playing out of his mind the past few weeks. We're also looking to that. Dolphins take care of business against the Texans in the first start of not Davis Mills. I don't know who the other Texan starter is. I'm gonna be completely fucking honest with you. Kyle Allen of Texas A&M and Houston fame. Oh, yeah, I remember him now. Yeah, he was the dude after Johnny Manziel. Yeah, Kyle Allen. They're winning the tankathon. That's all you can really say about the Texans. Damian Pierce's production's been down the past few weeks. We'll also probably get into that, but that's probably because teams are just keying in on him and there's no hope. In the battle of Mike White versus Trevor Siemian, Mike White had a really good game against a very porous Bears defense. Jets winning 31-10, putting us closer to the draft lottery. The lottery for that better pick. Even though it's not a lottery in the NFL, I know. Eddie Jackson did get hurt. He's going to probably has a Liz Frank injury. That's not good for the long term. So I was really hoping Eddie Jackson would be a great piece in the long term future, the next 3 to 4 seasons for the Bears. But he's probably out for the year. I hope he just comes back okay from it. Second major injury of his career. He did tear his ACL in college, and it's probably the sole reason why Clemson has a national title in 2016, because 2016 they played Alabama and Eddie Jackson was out, and Eddie Jackson was arguably one of a top 3 safety in that class, and he slipped to the 4th round because of that injury. And I don't think Renfro gets open on the goal line with Eddie Jackson there. That's just me. And thankfully, of course. Bengals beat the Titans 20-16. Commanders beat the Falcons 19-13. And now every NFC East team is in the playoffs right now. They hold all 3 wild cards. And they have a very good chance of keeping that too. The Chargers beat the Cardinals in a close one, 25-24. As Kyler Murray said, the Cardinals are fucked. Raiders beat the Seahawks 40-34 in overtime. Raiders get a big win. It keeps them in. If they can rally at the end of the year and stuff breaks right. Josh McDaniels is really just coaching for his job at this point. I don't think there's going to be a break for the playoffs. The Chiefs beat the ailing Rams 26-10. Niners shut out the Saints in a grinding 13-0 win. Elijah Mitchell did get hurt. He's out 6 to 8 weeks, so he's not going to be back till the playoffs at best, or he's out for the season at worst. So they're going to have to cope with that. They should be able to with the addition of McCaffrey, but we'll see. Eagles beat the Packers in a thriller, 40-33. And the Steelers beat the Colts. Jeff Saturday was, in fact, a bad coach. I was gassing him up a little bit too much. He didn't use his timeouts, and they lost. There's no other simple way. There's no other way around that, really. Trevor Lawrence the past few weeks is the first story I want to talk about, and we're just gonna pull up the game logs on Pro Football Reference real quick. And if you look at the past 3 weeks, which is the month of all the November games, 25 of 31. Let's see, all the November games, 25 of 31, 321 yards, and a TD, no interceptions. 29 of 40, 2 TDs, 259 yards. He had 53 yards in that first game on the ground, 26 yards that second game. And then last week, 29 of 37, 321 yards, 3 TDs, all quarterback ratings over 100. And again, the game-sealing 2-point conversion pass as well. I think Trevor Lawrence has arrived, and he's probably playing the best of all of the second-year quarterbacks right now. Justin Fields does come in a second for my book. Then Zach Wilson has fallen to the worst player. I think he's playing worse than Davis Mills. That's why he was benched for fucking Mike White. And Trevor Lawrence has always been that leader type guy, and just incredible play so far these past few weeks. The Browns beating the Buccaneers in overtime. The Browns get back to Deshaun under 500, so I believe they will miss the playoffs, and this is kind of a lost season. And if we go to the stats real quick, how many yards did the Buccaneers rush for? Why, yes, under 100. 94 to be exact. Or actually, 96. I forgot about Tom Brady's 2-yard rushing attempt. They still can't run the fucking ball. And as long as you're not able to run the fucking ball, you're not going to be able to do shit. They're 18th. They're 27th in scoring. Their defense is great. This is the year of the really good defenses just being hamstrung by the really bad offenses. They're 31st in the league in rushing attempts and 32nd in the league in rushing yards. They're dead last. This is just the year of how important establishing the run is for your success. And why the running back position might be unemphasized in today's league, but you still have to run the ball, and you still have to have good run blocking, good play calling, and if the quarterback can add to that dimension, our receivers on jet sweeps, pitches, backwards passes, and then also in like the screen game. I know I was going to passing yards. That can help your down the field passing offense a lot as well, but that's just like super basic football talk, like surface level is shit. What do you know? The Titans lose when Derrick Henry doesn't play good. It's just a simple he only got 38 yards on the ground. Derrick Henry on the year, their teams are keying in on him. He does have 1,000 yards through 11 games and 10 touchdowns. He's still playing really well, and he still is the best running back in the league. However, it's just there's been only a couple exceptions where he's played bad and they've lost. So that's more an affront to Ryan Tannehill, who I've never really been the most high on. I'm going to be honest. I'm just not. I mean, he's not playing bad this year. He has 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, thrown for 1,976 yards, 65% completion percentage. He's not playing bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just they don't really have receivers this year. So if you want to look at the 2022 Titans, who is their leading receiver? I don't fucking know. They had a guy for that. His name was A.J. Brown, and they kind of just let him walk for no particular reason other than they didn't want to pay him. So now their best receiver is Robert Woods and Nick Westbrook-Akine, who aren't bad players by any stretch of the imagination. They're actually pretty solid players, but they're not, these aren't number one guys. These aren't number one options. And I mean, Robert Woods had a couple good seasons. He's had a couple 1,000-yard seasons with the Rams. That's because he was playing opposite of Cooper Kupp. So, I mean, you got to think of those years with the Bills beforehand. He wasn't the number one option on those teams either. But he's a solid receiver. He's just not a number one receiver. And this was just not the replacement you needed for A.J. Brown. I mean, again, career 7,000 yards, but he only has one touchdown catch on the year. Then your other man receiving, Nick Westbrook-Akine, he only has 2 touchdowns on the year. He's a younger player. I think this is his rookie year, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, he's been in the league 2 years. Holy shit, he's been in the league 3 years. Holy fuck. That's why I don't watch enough Titans football, is all this tells me. He's averaging the most yards per reception of his career so far, and he's on pace to break his record so far of his career. But it comes down to the fact that they just don't really have receiving. They don't have receivers. And Austin Hooper has just not been the threat. I did not really like the Austin Hooper signing because I thought he's really like he'll pop off like 3 or 4 games in a year, and that's all he'll do. That's just my hot Austin Hooper take. To look at the divisions real quick before we discuss the Broncos, and that'll probably be the end of the video. Ooh, yes. Also, I have my Falcons souvenir cup I got from the game, full of water. Awkward pause. Drinking. But yes, looking at the divisions, Miami is still top of the AFC East with 8-3. The Bills right below them as well at 8-3. The Jets 7-4. Patriots 6-5. AFC North, Ravens and Bengals co-top 7-4 each. Lamar Jackson being that mad they lost is fair. They should not be losing. They've lost close games, and that's indicative of good and bad teams. They've just skirted by beating teams like the Panthers 13-9. Just skirting by the Browns, the Buccaneers. The Browns are a rivalry game, so that's okay. But the games they've lost have been games they needed to win. Again, the close one to the Bills, so the close one to the Giants. But dropping that game to the Jags, especially the way they did, I get why. And then them dragging their feet on paying Lamar, pay the fucking guy. There's no one better out there. That is all. AFC South, Tennessee has full control, 7-4. Jags 4-7. Colts 4-7-1. Texans the worst team in the league. AFC West. Again, the Hell division did not pan out the way it should have. The Chiefs are the only offense. The Chiefs and Chargers are the only offenses that showed up. The Chargers have just been hurt to hell and just hamstrung by mediocre coaching, whereas the Rams and Broncos have been the Raiders and Broncos have been hamstrung by complete ass coaching. The NFC East, again, all teams are in the playoffs right now, which is the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and the Commanders. And we'll look at the remainder of the Commanders' schedule to see how that pans out. Vikings 9-2 sit atop the NFC North, with the Lions being second at 4-7, and the Packers 4-8. Bears bringing up the rear at 3-9. NFC South's a complete shit show, with every team is still in it to make the playoffs through some miracle. The Buccaneers are 5-6. They haven't gone their bye yet. With the Falcons, Panthers, and Saints, or they haven't caught up yet. The Falcons, Panthers, and Saints. Falcons 5-7, Panthers and Saints 4-8 apiece. In the NFC West, the Seahawks have slipped to second. The 49ers are taking the lead at 7-4. The Seahawks dropping 2 straight, move back to 6-5. Cardinals are at 4-8, and the Rams in free fall at 3-8. So we'll also look at the Rams too, I guess, before I look at the Buccaneers. Jesus Christ, I can't speak right now. It's a bad day. The Broncos. What has gone wrong for them? Well, for one, it's turnovers. Matthew Stafford's been throwing a lot of interceptions this year and injuries. They started Bryce Perkins in an NFL game. And again, Bryce Perkins, great college quarterback. If you didn't have the pleasure of watching him at UVA, you missed out on a magical season. He passed for 22 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He had 3,500 in the air. Took his team to an ACC championship appearance. And on the ground, he added 769, 11 more touchdowns. The man was a good quarterback in college. The problem is he's just not an NFL quarterback. He's just not. And he's not a starter. He just doesn't have the throwing intangibles to do that. And the team kind of rode with Stafford. And they also have the problem they can't fucking run the ball either. They're 31st in the league. They're right behind the Buccaneers in rushing. And they cut Darrell Henderson. Did that really help? Probably fucking not. I mean, Cam Akers hasn't really been doing well. He has 274 yards on the ground all year. Cooper Kupp is out for damn near the whole season. 812 yards leading receiver by a lot. Him and Tyler Higbee have been the only. Allen Robinson's out for the year too. So now your second fucking option, you have Ben Skoranek and Tutu Atwell, your remaining options. The defense has not been playing great to the eye test. They're letting in 23 points a game. They're an average unit. Sure, you have dudes still putting up numbers, but they're just not that deep. Jalen Ramsey's been having a down year. Aaron Donald's still having a good year for him. Leonard Floyd's having a good year. They're just not playing good as a unit. You could probably see it probably at the defensive backs' fault. They just can't really cover that long, and the pass rush is easily keyed in on because there's really only two focal points, and that is Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd. I know Sean Robinson's also playing good as well. But yeah, Taylor Rapp can't cover anymore. I don't know when that happened. He's letting 128 QB rating, 78% completion percentage, 238 yards and 3 touchdowns in coverage. But it really comes down to the fact that I guess the Super Bowl hangover just really kicked their ass this year. And it fucking happens, you know. It just does. But shit, good luck with all them niggas retiring. I don't want to be y'all. Now on to the main topic before we stop the video today. Would be the Rams. Holy shit. I'm so sorry. The Broncos. What happened with the Broncos? It comes down to the fact that it's Nathaniel Hackett. This team, and in essence, it's also kind of John Elway's fault as well. How does a team have the third best defense but the worst offense in the league? If you just look at their schedule, right? They hold a team to 17, lose 17-16, right? They win a couple real fucking just ugly games. 16-9 against the Texans and 11-10 to the 49ers. The only team that scored 30 plus on them was the Raiders, and that's the game they scored the highest by. They scored 23, so they win basically every other game if they do that. They hold the Colts to 12 points. They only score 9. They hold the Chargers to 19. They only score 16. They hold the Jets to 16. They only scored 9. They beat the Jags. They scored 20-plus points. They hold the Titans to 17. They only score 10. They hold the Raiders to 22 this time. Only score 16. And then they let the Panthers of all teams score 23 points on them and hold them to 10 and only get 10 points. This comes down to the fact that if they can score in... Let's count them real quick. If they scored, they go to OT against the Seahawks. They score 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Let's say they score 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals, 4 possessions and then scores. That's not, especially with this offense, that's underselling what they should be doing. They should probably be scoring 3 touchdowns in the field. They should probably be averaging 24 points a game. If any preseason metric should argue it. Let's say they're averaging 20, right? 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns. They beat the Seahawks. They still beat the Texans. They still beat the Niners. They lose the Raiders. You know what? Derek Carr, Adams, they have a good day. You know, they beat the Colts handily. They beat the Chargers close. They beat the Jets. They will still beat the Jags. They beat the Titans. They come close to beating the Raiders again this time. It goes to OT, so maybe it doesn't go to OT, so they win that game. And they barely lose the Panthers. By my count, that's 2 losses on the year. So instead of being 3-8, they're 9-2. That's it. That's all they have to do. I know it's hard to score in the National Football League, but they make it a hell of a lot fucking harder than it has to be. When you have a Hall of Fame quarterback and a great supporting class of players around him. I know Tim Patrick's hurt. That's not a fucking excuse. Melvin Gordon fumbling is an issue. The turnovers do hurt a lot. But you can't excuse the passing game. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, and they're good players. Those are good options. Greg Dulwich at tight end, like these Kendall Hinton as a good third option. These are good fucking players, and they can't do it. Albert O as the second tight end, like this is a half decent fucking football team, man. But it's just it all comes back to Nathaniel Hackett and John Elway, but mainly Nathaniel Hackett. He's a shithead coach, and he should have been fired. He should have been fired after he lost to the Colts. He is inept. He's inept at coaching in the National Football League. And that's all. He's just inept. And it's going to be a long fucking ride. Get it for Russell Wilson in Denver. He's going to probably have to get a new head coach next year and start all the way from scratch. He's only getting older. He's banged up as shit this year. This is probably one of the biggest. And then the Seahawks won the trade. The Seahawks are going to have a top 5 pick, is what it looks like by the end of the year. Well, they're leaked for sure top 10 to help fix their admittedly kind of shit defense. They've breathed new life into Geno Smith. They have a good running back for the future in Kenneth Walker. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf as your receiving duo is one for the future. Like if you fuck around and then getting Noah Fant and Will Disley as your tight end duo, if you fuck around and put a good defense with this team, and if Geno Smith plays next year, this is you're talking about a sneaky competitive team here. And they can do that with the draft, either shoring up the line or shoring up either defensive or offensive line, or shoring up the linebacking core as well, or getting a premier pass rusher. Or they can flip it for future draft capital if they don't think they can compete next year and start their rebuild in a much better point. They won the trade. And I was not one of those people. I think I said on the show I didn't think they won the trade. I thought it was stupid. I thought they got robbed. But the ineptness of one Nathaniel Hackett. I really got on my soapbox today. Holy shit, I'm sorry. But the ineptness of Nathaniel Hackett is really the just that's it. That's just why they're not competing. And that's all I can really say on that. Go into this next week's games just to see what they're doing. Let's see. Thursday night, Bills-Patriots. I'm going to go Bills. Steelers-Falcons on Sunday night. I'm going to go Steelers. I'll go Falcons. Sunday, Bears-Packers. I'm always riding with the Bears. I don't give a fuck about that game. Sunday, Jags-Lions. The Lions kept it close against the Bills. I know the Jags are coming off that win against the Ravens. I'm going to go Lions. They're going to be in Detroit. Sunday, Browns-Texans. Browns, Deshaun Watson's comeback. He'll probably have a great game against the Texans, blah, blah, blah. Sunday, Jets, Vikings. Vikings. Mike White won't hold up against the Vikings defense. Sunday, Commanders, Giants. I'm going to go Commanders. Commanders on a hot streak. Giants have kind of cooled off as of late. The Commanders have a solid run defense. They stop Saquon. They win the game. Titans, Eagles, Sunday. I go Eagles. Broncos, Ravens. Ravens will right the ship against the Broncos. At least I fucking hope so. Sunday, Seahawks, Rams. Rams will stop the skid against the Seahawks will stop the skid against the Rams. Sunday, Dolphins, Niners. I'll go Dolphins. Chiefs, Bengals on Sunday and the 4:25 slot. I'm going to go Chiefs. Chargers, Raiders, Chargers. Sunday night, Colts, Cowboys. Cowboys. Jeff Saturday is also showing he's an inept coach, but he's a stopgap, so it's okay. And Monday Night Football, Saints, Buccaneers. I'll go Buccaneers. They can't lose against the Saints. Not as bad as they lost last week. But that's all I got for y'all today on the NFL Roundup. It's been PJ. Go Team USA. Always go Bears. Shout out to the National Football League for just the great drama it's been giving us this year. That sounded like a shill move. I don't know why I said that. But also, fire Nathaniel Hackett, fire Josh McDaniels. That's the only message I got. It's been PJ signing out on the Poverty Franchise Podcast.